Yeah, thank you all for joining. And uh, so basically, Gunja is my school friend. I know her since almost 20 years. She's into fashion designing. She's a lecturer at one of the reputed institute in Pune. She has done her bachelor's and master's in fashion designing, and she would be talking about career in fashion. So that's about Gunja. I think we can get started. So yeah, over to you, Gunja.
Thank you so much, Om. First of all, I would like to thank this platform, Happy to Help, for giving me this opportunity to share the knowledge and ideas that I have gathered over a period of 7 years of experience in this fashion industry. So it's actually more than 7 years. I have been working since I was a student. This was my passion towards fashion. And this is really a creative field. So Happy to Help has been conducting such webinars for all the domains, and fashion is nonetheless. So we are touching this aspect today also. And I'm really happy that Indian society is giving the equal importance to the fashion field, which is still blooming. Like I would say, fashion is a bloomed industry in the India, yet it is making the places in the houses, families, hearts, and society. So I'm really happy for getting these domain or this field over this platform. So let's start with the webinar with the topic that is creative careers in fashion. So first of all, we will understand what is fashion designing. So fashion has a different aspect or a different terminology or a different concept for each and every individual. Like asking a question to a normal, to common man, people answer like fashion is dressing up, it is comfort, it is styling, and a lot of things. Actually, fashion is an art that is devoted to designing of the clothing and lifestyle accessories. So yes, it is not limited to the clothing only. It has gone beyond the clothing up to the lifestyle accessories. So there is no aspect in life till date which is not touched by fashion, or just untouched by fashion rather, I would say. Be it electronics, be it devices, the infrastructures, architectures, everything, clothing.
Gunja seems like there is a network issue. Can you hear me? Gunja, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Kumar. I think can't hear Gunja.
Yeah, Atul, I'll check with her. Might be some network issue at her side. Guys, need a minute while she joins back. Yeah. Hey, Abhi, we need a minute.
आपण ज्या नंबरवर कॉल करीत आहात तो नेटवर्क कव्हरेज क्षेत्राच्या बाहेर आहे.
Yeah, guys, I think I need a couple of minutes. Seems like Gunja is having some network issue, so yeah, need some time. Hey guys, I think I need couple of minutes. By that time, I think I'll talk a little bit about our platform, if that might help you guys. So I hope you guys can see my screen. You guys can see it, right, Atul?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
Yes, oh, we can see. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. So basically, we kind of started this initiative during the pandemic, and we have taken three categories of initiatives. So one is wherein we have mentors who are actually donating their time to talk to mentors if they have any questions or any problems to solve or any career guidance, etc. So they can come to our platform and schedule one-on-one. We are conducting webinar or open discussion every Saturday on any certain topic. So we are requesting anybody who is a subject matter expert of any given topic to come and talk about the expertise they have, the experience they have around that topic. These are certain topics which we started with, which is design, technology, and etc. You can see there are certain mentors which belongs to like who belong to that category. So let's say if I want to talk to any of the mentor, let's say I want to talk to Reha, right? So I can just check her calendar when she's available, and I can book an appointment or a session, and I can just talk to her regarding my problem and or anything I want a career advice, or I want to talk about certain personal issue also, because she's expert and she's a counselor also. So likewise, we are actually onboarding people who are ready to donate their time, wherein they can if conduct webinar or open discussion, or maybe can do one-on-one. If you are willing to join us as a mentor, you can always register yourself using this link, and we would onboard you as a mentor. If you want to talk to anyone, then I think you can use our Calendly. If you have any advice or suggestion, you can write to us using this link. And here are certain platforms wherein you can talk to us. I meaning you can follow us, and like you will get to know the updates, whatever initiative we are taking. This is our YouTube channel. So whatever session we have conducted so far, we actually record all the session and we upload it here. So this is how it is. This is how we are conducting this. So we would be really happy if you want to become part of this, or if you would like to contribute in any way. Also, we have our group on Meetup, so there you can follow us, and you would get a notification there if we are conducting any webinar or session. So I'm just waiting for this Gunja to join. So just give me a minute. I'll try calling her again. Maybe Abhishek, can you talk anything by the time? Abhishek Jain.
What do you want me to talk about?
Anything, anything. If you can fill up the time by the time she joins. I mean, yeah.
Okay, that's. I'm not sure I have anything to talk about, but hi everyone. So I don't have anything to talk about.
Okay, so hey, this is Ganesh. Hey, thanks, Avi. So guys, I know we all are from a different background and different platforms and different jobs. So let me gather the information from you guys. What all topics you are interested in, and then probably what we can do is we can try and plan sessions or webinars like this for you guys. So anybody who wants a topic on particular discussion, just unmute yourself and let us know so that we gather that information and find the right mentor for you guys. Okay, so while Gunja joins back, we can at least have that discussion if it's okay with everyone, right?
Yeah, I
I
think
think that's a good idea. We can definitely talk about the future topics.
Yeah. And what our audience is, just suggest what your topics you are interested in, and we will definitely try to find out the right mentor for you and arrange a session for that. Yeah, you can put it in a chat or you can unmute yourself and talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, I think I can suggest few topics.
Sure.
So we can have few sessions on career guidance at
Okay.
this time. At the time of pandemic, how things have changed in the in different industries. So since I know that there are few things that that are changed in tech industry. But we can take perspective from different industries and then talk about that. Again, like few. So I know that few people are affected with all this lockdown in different countries at different locations. So especially in India, where tech is not much affected, but other careers where people are more like they need to come to office to do their task.
Oh,
So
okay.
they are definitely affected. So how they can migrate towards something which is which doesn't require them to go to office or something like that. And how they can think about their future career or something like that.
Okay. Thanks, Avi. I noted that point as a career guidance for you. I also see a topic from Shreya in the chat. She is asking, can I have a mentor on BBA International Business? So Shreya, to be very frank, I am not much familiar with what your topic you mentioned, but yeah, definitely. We through a Happy to Help group we will discuss it internally first, and then we'll see if we can find the right mentor. If you don't mind, can you please shortly explain me what exactly what kind of thing you're looking for? I mean, if it's okay, you can unmute yourself and just give me a brief idea, or for the Happy to Help group, just give a brief idea.
So Ganesh, let me take that up. So
Sure.
Shreya, you are already pursuing the BBA, or you want to pursue the BBA?
Okay, just put it in the chat. She's saying she has a problem with mic. Yeah, so just put it in the chat. She wanted to open the answer. You got the answer, right?
Yeah.
So there is in chat, Dipti has mentioned that she have done BBA. So probably she can give some guidance to Shreya.
Yeah, actually, she's in 12th and she wants to know whether to do BBA. I believe that's what she wants to understand. So I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
BBA is a bachelor degree of MBA. So I mean, just like Master of Business Administration, this BBA is Bachelor of Business Administration. So I know about this degree. One of the college I know in Pune is Symbiosis, and they are, I think, having good, I would say, course, and also they have good placement. That's all I know. So if you wanted to pursue something in business,
Maybe Om, if she can reach out to me, I can help her with it.
Atul, maybe can you talk about it? Maybe I'm not sure if
Yeah, I don't know if Kirti is still on. Is she still on?
yeah, Shreya is there. Shreya is there. She asked.
Shreya, sorry.
Yeah.
So, Shreya, it really depends on what you want to do. subsequent to the BBA. I mean, if it is, I think it's a conversation and it's a one-to-one conversation. So I am on that platform. If you want, you can reach out. I have done my MBA and engineering 17 odd years back, but I can help you with this. From what I see right now happening, I would not pursue BBA unless there is a very specific reason why you want to do it. And if you're planning to do an MBA subsequent to the BBA, then the BBA and really from a courseware perspective is exactly the same as the MBA. So I would not suggest you do that. If there is some other area which is of interest, right? I would suggest you pick that up, and then if you feel like an MBA will help you, then pursue an MBA afterward. Purely doing a BBA would not help unless, like I said, like if that's what you want to do, right? I mean, then obviously just go ahead do it. But I would suggest explore something else which will give you some domain understanding of, maybe it is accounting, maybe it is science, whatever, right? I mean, wherever you are comfortable with, like say fashion technology, right? I mean, things like that which are more trade and domain specific. And then afterwards, if you feel like you need an MBA to, for whatever reason, right? So there could be two reasons. One, if you feel like you need an MBA to, after working for 2-3 years, that you feel an MBA will help you grow further, then pursue that. Or if you feel like to get into whatever job you have post your undergrads, you feel like, like your grads, you feel like an MBA will help, then do it. That's my 2 cents on it. But directly doing a BBA, I don't know if it is a very employable skill right off the bat. Unless, of course, you do it from one of the premier institutes, and then that's a very different conversation. And that holds true for MBAs also. If you are not, if it is not hard to get into that MBA course that you are pursuing, then it will add very little value to the profile. Is my view on it.
Got it. So Atul, maybe you're saying that if you don't get into the top institutes, so maybe like that, right?
So MBA is slightly more forgiving in that sense. You could go into a tier 2 institute and still come out with some sort of a different track, and still pursue something there, I would say. But I think Gunja has joined back. But BBA, like I said, off the bat is not an employable skill, at least that I am aware of. You might have to, you might be better off doing a more specialized graduation in, like I said, maybe do commerce, do accounting, understand how accounting works, right? Those kind of skill sets will help you when you go to your MBA. Otherwise, from a courseware perspective, BBA, MBA, courseware is exactly the same. You will not add any value. You will just unless you enjoy studying, right? I mean, that's the point, then that's a different conversation.
Yeah, and Shreya, I hope you can see my screen. So if you go to this website, right? I've already shared the link in the chat, and here you will find Atul, and here you can see the Atul calendar. And based on whenever you are available in next month, you would see basically certain time which Atul has shared on Sunday. You can actually schedule one-on-one, and you can discuss in detail if you want, right? If you want further guidance. So yeah. So I think Gunja is back. So maybe over to you, Gunja. Maybe you can continue. You're on mute, Gunja. Actually.
Thank you, Om. I'm so sorry, everyone. I got disconnected due to some network issue here.
Yeah, no problem. Maybe Gunja, you can share your screen, and yeah.
Sure. Can you see my screen, Om?
Yeah, we can see that. Yes. You can maybe.
So shall we begin right from first slide, or you could hear something and I can start from in between?
I think it's your choice, however you want to do it. I think that's fine. Maybe you can just, yeah.
Okay, so let's start again. I think let's restart.
Yeah.
All right, so by now you all know me, so I will not reintroduce myself. And thank you, Happy to Help, for giving this opportunity or this platform to share my ideas and my knowledge through my experience, which I have covered, which I have gathered like over a period of 7 years in this fashion industry. I have been exploring different areas in the industry like designing and manufacturing, in academics like teaching and conducting seminars and webinars in this pandemic, and a lot of workshops and a lot of other things also. So I have almost touched every area of this fashion industry other than styling only. So I've been working in a retail also when I was a student. So it's actually experience of more than 7 years because I started working when I was a student. So as a student, I gathered 2 years of retail experience. After that, I started working in a manufacturing unit. And after that, I got into designing, and right now I am into teaching. Right. So every experience was better than the previous one. So here I am to share my ideas upon this topic, creative careers in fashion. I'm really happy that Indian societies or platforms like Happy to Help have started giving place to the fashion industry. Because if you see in India, earlier there was no place or there was no importance for the fashion. Parents never approved or never allowed their kids to go for this industry. But let me tell you, and I'm proud to share that fashion is the largest employing industry in India. So if we go into the detail in later part of the slides, I will tell you how it is the largest employing industry in India, and we will get to know more about it. So let's begin with the first slide, where I would like to tell you what is fashion. So if we ask a common man what is fashion, people have different aspects and different views about it. Some people think it is only about clothing, some people think styling, comfort, everything, and a lot of aspects that have. But let me tell you that it is an applied art devoted to the designing of clothing and lifestyle accessories. So yes, it is not only limited to the clothing, it has gone beyond that. You talk about lifestyle accessories, you talk about interiors, you talk about electronic devices, you talk about anything that is untouched by fashion. So in today's lifestyle, everything is being touched by fashion, be it a single toothbrush, the product with which we start our morning, right from a toothbrush to a night suit that we wear at night, the entire day is touched directly or indirectly by fashion. So we keep touching the fashion in different aspects of life. It is not limited to clothing or accessories. It is also an art that is influenced by cultural and social attitudes. Now here, being specific, every family or every country, every nation has their culture. So they have their particular do's and don'ts, what to wear, what not to wear, their do's and don'ts, what is ethical according to them, what is good, what shouldn't be worn. So this is the culture that fashion is influenced by. Talking about India only, we have different regions where we have different culture. You know, there are the places in India, there are regions where only sari is worn, there are regions where salwar suits is being worn, there are urban areas where you can wear anything and flaunt yourself. So it is touched by culture in every aspect. Again, the social attitudes matter. So to which society you belong to, how much social attitude affect your dressing, what can you wear in front of whom, what can you wear with being with a family. So it is also an art that has traveled a long way from ancient royal costumes to haute couture till present day. Talking about the royal families of the king's families, we all have seen in the pictures or in the movies or in the documentaries how the kings were dressed up. So these royal families reserved the rights to wear expensive clothing. Talking about particular fabrics like silk and satin, talking about a few colors, a few pieces of expensive jewelry, including precious and semi-precious stones, they reserved the rights to follow the fashion. Whereas a common man was not allowed to copy or imitate them. So since those times till date, where we are following haute couture in present day. Now here by haute couture, I mean high fashion. So there are types of fashion that we follow. High fashion is something that is presented on the ramps by designers. We also call it designer wear. Haute couture is even a step ahead of the designer wear. The garments or the designs that are shown on the ramp, out of which some are not even wearable. But that is again a way of showing creativity from the designers. So they want to show every possible way how a garment can be made and can be worn.
Gunja,
This is what fashion is.
Gunja, I'll request you to
Yes.
turn off your video. Maybe that will help little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
At the bottom, you would see an icon.
Just a minute. Is it better now?
Yeah, yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are. You are. Yeah.
Yeah. So how to go for fashion industry step by step is, here you are supposed to have two skills. Like all other fields, you need to have a degree or a certificate or some education on paper to show to the interview panel. But there is an additional skill that you need to require is a natural skill. Now what these natural skills comprise of are the decent aesthetic sense, color expertise, good taste and sense of trends and fashion. So here, aesthetic sense is the most valuable thing in the fashion industry. What do I mean by aesthetic is something that the value which can be seen, a visual value of a product. You know, this is a natural instinct of a human being. Looking at a product, if we like something, we immediately react. Wow, this is so me. Wow, I wish to have it. So what do you like about that product? Being a common man, you do not know the technicalities behind it all the time. You know, only the designers or people who have knowledge of fashion or stitching, they know the technicalities behind them. But as a common man, you just like the product visually. So that is called as aesthetic sense. So for being a designer, you should have a decent aesthetic sense. You should be able to visualize how would a design look like? How would an end product look like? How would it look after wearing on the human body? The another important aspect is color expertise. There are n number of colors that exist in the world. We can't name them, we can't even code them, and we can't even give them a number. We can't even count them. So here I don't want everybody to know the names of all the colors, but you should be good at selecting the colors. Now, selection is just not limited to yourself. Being a designer, you should be able to select a color for others also. There are many body types, there are many skin tones that we have in our country itself. I'm not talking about internationally because there are many skin tones that we need to consider. So even if we talk about on the domestic level, Indians have different skin tones and different body types. So this color selection is a very important aspect. Selecting an appropriate color for a particular body type and skin tone is half done of the design. So you should have a good sense of selection of the color. Another aspect of the color is good sense of combining the colors. Now, there comes a possibility, or most of the times we usually wear contrast colors. We wear more than one color in the outfit. So you should be really good at combining the colors. Some values of the colors look really awful with each other, and some colors look really awful on a particular skin tone. So you should have that natural sense. Of course, it is taught in the institutions. There are some technicalities, there are some rules, there are some do's and don'ts that you will be taught in your course. But still, you should have a natural instinct to select a color and combine the colors with each other. So partnering the colors is also a very important aspect. Another natural skill that you require is a good taste. So here by taste, I just do not mean that picking up the best product. That is not a good taste. That anybody can do. Everybody picks up the best product for themselves. That's not a big deal. But the big deal here is selecting an appropriate product for an appropriate occasion. Like if I give two, three examples, like maybe your client is going for an official meet, maybe your client is going for a birthday party or going to attend a wedding, or your client is going for a funeral. So these three are extremely different occasions, and these occasion demands different selection of the color, different selection of the fabric and different designing. So you should be able to pick an appropriate product for the occasion. This is what is called as good taste. Having a good taste is again a must required skill for a designer. The another aspect is sense of trends and fashion. So you should understand the fashion and trends that are running right now in the particular time period. Now understanding the trends is again a very technical topic that you are taught in your syllabus, in the colleges, in the institutions. You have been given the projects. You are supposed to do market survey for all this, but you should have an eyesight which designs, which colors, which styles, which cuts are accepted and worn by people for now. Trends keep changing every now and then. If you are able to keep an eye on the trends, then you have got this natural skill. So these natural skills are must along with the acquired skills. Now acquired skills is not a big deal that any fashion institute, any website, any books can give you. But combining the natural skills and acquired skills will result in the best designing. So what acquired skills would you want? That would be a fashion course from a fashion institution or fashion college. Now there are n number of colleges and institutions offering n number of courses. So you have to register yourself in any of them for the best suitable course for yourself that we are going to again discuss in the later slides, and then get it acquired yourself. So combining these natural and acquired skills will help you to make the best suitable designs for the client. Making a best design or a beautiful design is not a purpose for the designer all the time. So we need to understand this from a designer's point of view. What is the occasion? Who is your client? What is their budget? What is their body type? What is the purpose? And how do they want to represent themselves? Every personality also demands a different design, a different combination and a different composition altogether. So combining these two skills, you will definitely learn this.
Yeah,
like in the previous slide, we talked about the fashion courses. So which fashion courses are available in the market right now are, there are a full-time courses and a few part-time courses. So full-time course comprises of the bachelor's degree, like any other course we have, or we call it graduation also. Some colleges offer 3 years degree and some colleges offer 4 years. So it doesn't matter how much time do you have or which course you go for, more or less the course is similar, only the 4 years have some extra subjects that you can look for, and if you are interested you should go for the 4-year course. Otherwise 3 years is also a sufficient bachelor's degree course for pursuing the fashion course. Another full-time course is the post-graduation or master's that usually needs 2 years. And again, there are a lot of specializations in the masters also. You can select depending on your choice that I will be explaining again in the next few slides. Other than full-time courses, there are part-time certificate courses also. If you do not want to take, or if you do not want to pursue fashion as a career, but as a hobby, like many people have this creativity or instinct of learning the fashion designing course, but they can't give that much time and efforts for full-time courses. So we have these part-time certificate courses available in the market, which are also called as fast-track courses. The duration of these courses again vary. It may vary from 1 month to 6 months, 10 months or a year. So depending on the tenure that you can give for your hobby or for your liking, you can decide. Other than these certificate courses, there are specialized courses also. Like for example, styling is one of the subject or the topic of the fashion designing. So styling can also be taken as a specialization, and you can opt for a certificate course. Likewise, there are other specializations also that we will be discussing in the later slides. So I hope fashion courses are clear. This is not a big deal. Like any other courses, here also we have like graduation and post-graduation courses, also certificate courses. How to decide whether I should go for fashion designing or not? Now, being a lecturer, I have experienced this. Many of the students or this young generation enter into the course just looking at the glamour of the course. You know, looking at the fashion shows, the pictures, the YouTube videos, they find it too glamorous and interesting and they get into the course. But it is not the picture how it seems. There are a lot of efforts, there is a lot of creativity, a lot of dedication, time and money expenditure behind all that we can see in a fashion show. So I have jotted down some statements here. If the answers to these, most of the statement is yes, you must go for the course as as a serious career option. And if the answers to most of them or even half of them is no, then you can opt it as a hobby only. So first thing that I would like to suggest you here is you must be original and creative. By original, I mean you should be creative enough or you should have those natural instinct to design the garment or design any of the product. I do not here mean not to take inspiration from already existing products or already existing concepts or ideas. There are a lot of designers even to whom we follow. We take inspiration from them. We get inspired from their collection, from their concepts and their ideas. So getting inspired or imitating them to a limit is all right. We all need to take the inspiration or guideline on which we can work upon. That is all right. But still you should have your originality so that you can create your own designs. Now imagine a situation where you call yourself as a fashion designer, a client is sitting in front of you and asking you for a particular design for a particular occasion. You can't ask your client to wait, go and surf on the sites, take the design from there and suggest them. At that moment, at that very moment, you should have your originality. You should be able to create the new designs, explain them and convince them. So if you are original and creative, you must go for it. The second statement, the second idea what I feel is you must be interested in making others look good. If you are self-obsessed, dressing up and making look yourself good, then it's a no. You have to think about others also. You have to think people around you. Because in future, if you become a designer, if you start designing for others, you will be getting all type of people around you. So you should be interested in making others look good also. Understanding their purposes, their body structure, their skin tone and a lot of many other factors, their budgets, the occasion they are going to attend, you should be able to convince them with your designs. Then you must be creative enough to combine colors, textures and other similar details. So we discussed a bit about the colors and fabrics and textures. So you should know what color will suit best to your client, to this body type. You should know a little bit about the textures of the fabric. Even if you don't know the textures, you should feel the surface of the fabric at least. The names of the textures, their technicality, how they are made, how they are achieved will be definitely taught in the syllabus or in any of the courses. But you should have that willingness to know about the feel of the fabric. And there are many other similar details. So before opting the course, if you start observing the details in the garments, like people do observe the details, like this season the long kurtas are in, this season the diagonal cuts are in, this season the uneven hemlines are in the trends. So if you start observing such kind of details, that means you have that eyesight already inside you and you can opt for this course. The next point I would mention is you must be able to visualize new designs, patterns and accessories. So visualization or imagination is very important here. It is a different story to draw a design on the paper. You should be able to imagine how the end product will look. Because many times at initial stage, for the beginners, this is a challenge. Drawing the design on the paper is really easy task. It becomes easier after opting for the course. So how you draw it, it doesn't look exactly when the end product is ready. You should be able to visualize how the end product will look Would it look up to the mark? Would it look how I have imagined it? Would it look like the client is expecting? So if you have this visualization, then that is an additional skill, natural skill that you have already got. You must enjoy working with the fabrics and design. So fashion designing is all about working with fabric, selecting, cutting the fabric, stitching the fabric, altering the fabric. So if you're already irritated of the fabrics and you don't like working with them, then there is a big no for it. But if you like the prints, the selection, the feel of the fabric, the fall of the fabric, if you keep thinking about all these technicalities about the fabrics, then you must go for this course. So before opting the course, you should ask yourself all these things. And if the answer to most of the questions or statements is yes, please go for it.
Hey Gunja, I have a question. So like once I have like done the degree, like what you would advise, whether I should look out for a job or I can start my own business also? Like what was your experience and what you would advise?
Actually, we will come to that in the later slides. But since you have asked, I would suggest it's a big no-no to have a startup immediately after you pass out from the college. No matter how good institute or college or course you opted for, it gives you only bookish knowledge. You are making very creative assignments in the college. So making designs on the paper and working practically in the market, facing the clients, convincing them, getting things done from your staff, picking up the right things from the market is altogether a different experience. So what I did for myself worked really good. After passing out from the college, I got into the internship for the months without even being paid. But trust me, I learned a lot out of it. And then I started working and slowly I made contacts and I got to know that I need to touch every aspect of fashion designing and then decide who I love to do the most. So that's why I have been exploring different areas in the fashion. Like I mentioned that I have done designing, I have worked in a manufacturing unit. Right now I am into the academics. I have done seminars and webinars. Styling is the only field of fashion that I haven't touched yet. So even after touching that aspect of this area, I would be better deciding which part of this industry I love. So I suggest not to go for or not to rush to open up a boutique. You know, I have seen people in my life, in fact, many of the friends who just had a startup after the college thinking that, oh, we are really creative designers. But it is not only about the designing. Getting into a business or a boutique or a startup, you need a lot of other things also. You need to do financial management. You should be really good at communicating the clients. You should be good at convincing them. You need to have contacts so that people know you by your face, by your name, and by your creativity.
Got it. Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Yeah. So to proceed, different areas in the fashion industry. Like the main topic of this webinar is the different areas, the different job opportunities or the career options that we can have in the fashion industry are designing, styling, manufacturing, textiles, sales and retail sector. Most of the things we have heard, but we do not know the job opportunities that are offered into these fields or these areas. So let's touch every aspect of this fashion industry individually. To start with, I will talk about designing first. Now in designing also, there are several different opportunities. First of all, I will talk about freelance designing. This is another aspect that I did after, this is another thing that I did after my course got over. When I started doing internship and working in the boutiques, I got contacts. A few family members, their friends and their families approached me for this. And I started taking orders. I started collecting things from them, getting things done from the staff and home delivering them, giving the good service made the contacts and social circle bigger every day, and it paid me really good in every aspect, not only in the monetary aspect but also in the contacts, and I got the fame also. So freelancing is the first option where you do not need to have a setup, where you do not really need to invest at the beginning, and you can work on the contract basis. Like for this, you should know a few tailors, a few masters, a few embroiderers, and a few dyers. So if I am sounding too technical right now in case of masters, dyers, embroiderers and staff, these terms you will get used to when you will be doing the course. So you need not to worry about. These are all the people that work on one design. So being a designer, you just take a sketch on the paper and you get every thing done step by step from others. So that is what freelance designing is. You take orders from others, you get it done from outside, you outsource them, and the final product you deliver to your customer. So this is a good option at the beginning level. The another option is having a design studio or a boutique. So like I said, once you maintain the contacts, once you get your social circle really big, when people start knowing you with your name, face and creativity, you can have a setup. By the time, if you have done freelance designing or if you have a financial backup, then you can start with a design studio or your own boutique. Again, here I suggest, even if you want to have your own startup, start from a small scale. You need not to go really big at once. So start from a small scale and then grow slowly, so that people know you, people see your growth, they attract towards your creativity and towards your growth also. Third is costume designer. Now this is again a very good option. So we have been seeing movies, historical movies like Jodha Akbar, Padmavati and all. So here you really don't need fashion designers, because these characters have been there in the past and they had their identity. You need not to make new designs for them. You need not to follow the trends for them, but you need to be a costume designer for them. So being a costume designer, you have to go to the past. You have to study about these characters. You have to feel them. You have to know about their entire lifestyle. What did they wear? Like I mentioned, the royal families had reserved the rights to wear certain clothing, certain fabrics, certain colors and pieces of the jewelry. So you have to study them. You have to design them their own way, and a bit of modern touch you can give these costumes with your own creativity. So costume designer is another opportunity, but again this is a job opportunity which you get on very selected places. Like if I talk about India, Mumbai is the place where you can get these jobs, or now these days even Marathi movies have started getting their shootings done in Pune. So some of our students also get opportunities. So costume designer is basically designing the costumes of already existing characters, or if a movie has a particular character, designing a costume for them. So this is another opportunity where you can get name, fame and money. Next is styling. So you can work as a fashion stylist or as a personal stylist. Both mean the same. Now styling is again a natural instinct. No matter how much an institute teach you styling, combine this accessory with this dress, combine these footwears, you are not going to be there in the college for all your life. Once you step out of the college, the new fashion comes, the new trends keep changing. So you should have that natural sense of combining the things. Which outfit goes best with which accessories, which jewelry, which footwear, what hairstyle, what makeup you should go. So these stylists can work initially for the photo shoots. Like we have fashion models photo shoot, like who wants to opt for the modeling career, they start doing photo shoots and these stylists work for them. So initially again you can start at a small scale, and if you get success in it, if you are doing good in life, then you can start styling for the celebrities. So styling for celebrities is again a highly paid job. If you get into it, nothing like that. I will give you an example. Once we had a workshop with Ashley Rebello, who is a personal stylist for Salman Khan. So what he told us is, even if Salman Khan steps out of his house just for a common activity, he calls me over, like we discuss even either on a phone call, or I have to visit his house and tell him what to wear. So can you imagine how much Ashley must be paid by Salman Khan? So if you get to that level, nothing like that. Next is manufacturing area. This is a really huge area that is related to fashion. So here the opportunities that you can get are working as a fashion merchandiser. Again, there are two possibilities: sampling merchandiser and a manufacturing merchandiser. Second is apparel production manager. Third is quality control manager, pattern maker, and then cutting coordinator. So what all these means, I will touch them superficially only. Fashion merchandiser is a person who coordinates with everybody related to that particular design. For example, I am a manufacturing unit. I am a merchandiser working for a manufacturing unit. So being a merchandiser, I have to consult to my client what he is expecting from me. I have to consult to the fabric vendor to get the fabric, appropriate, selected, suitable fabric. I have to consult the printer, the dyer, the embroiderer, the pattern maker, and the sewer finally. So each and every step, who will be doing it, how it should be done is my job. So being a fashion merchandiser is like being a center point for that particular design. You have to keep an eye on every aspect, every step of that particular design until the final product comes in your hand and you send it to the buyer. Now there are two possibilities. One, you can work as a sampling merchandiser. Another, you can work as a manufacturing merchandiser. So every manufacturing unit is divided into two small units. First is sampling unit and another is manufacturing unit. Sampling is where you actually design and make the samples, where you make the first initial few versions of the design. And manufacturing is where you manufacture things in bulk once your sample gets approved. The job is more or less same. You are the center point for every design or the bulk manufacturing. So here you are working as a coordinator with everybody who is consulted with the design. Second opportunity is apparel production manager. So production again is a very big unit that has to be looked after. So you can work as a manager there. You can manage every activity that takes into the production. Now again, production is a very, very long procedure. I may sound little technical here, but there is fabric checking, cutting, layouts, making the patterns, cutting, stitching, quality control, measurement quality, ironing, packing, and sending it to the client. So all these steps are controlled by a production manager. Another opportunity is quality control manager. So quality is being checked at the every step of the manufacturing. Once you get fabric into the manufacturing unit, you get it checked before you cut it. Once the fabric is cut, you get it checked and then it goes for the sewing. Once the fabric is sewn into the garment is being checked for the measurements, if there are any stains, if there are any threads, if there is any irregularity that can be observed in any of the pieces. Even if you are producing 10,000 pieces or 1 lakh pieces or 100 pieces, every single piece is being quality checked. So you can work you can work as a controller to the team of the quality checking, and you are positioned as quality control manager. The next opportunity in the manufacturing is pattern maker. This is a really technical person, the one who makes the pattern. Once you make the design on the paper, the next thing you have to make a pattern on the paper again. So you cut the paper into the appropriate size in which the garment is required, and that is called as pattern making. So pattern is the most technical thing or technical aspect of fashion designing. If you are really good at pattern making, you will be again paid very good. Being a pattern maker is being a backbone of the manufacturing unit. Once you make the accurate pattern, the chances are less that your design will get destroyed. Right? If the pattern is accurate, the garment or the output or the result is obviously accurate. Then you can become a cutting coordinator. Now this cutting happens in bulk. Like if 10,000 pieces, 1 lakh pieces have been cut, then you can coordinate with them. You should again have a technical knowledge for cutting so many garments at a time. So these are all the aspects that these are all the job opportunities that a manufacturing unit can offer to a fashion designer. Again, India has a very big scope of manufacturing or merchandising. The only drawback in this field is the job opportunities are limited to very few places. Like you talk about Delhi. Delhi is a manufacturing hub of apparel. Second manufacturing biggest hub is the Mumbai. So the only drawback of this point is you have to go to certain places and take these job opportunities. But if you are interested in manufacturing, it is worth compromising the place. I hope this is clear.
Yeah. So Gunja, do we also get it? So like, so if I have a certain category of clothes, like let's say sort of H&M, they have certain style. So do they trademark it? Like, how does it go? Does it go in this area? Like,
Yes, they do trademark it. So this is altogether a different topic in the fashion, which we call fashion law. So first you register your company, and if you want to trademark every design of yours, you're free to do. So these big companies, the brands like H&M, Zara, and international brands like Gap, they register their designs and they claim if somebody copies them or releases before them.
got it.
You have rights on every design, so you have to register them. If you don't register, anybody can copy or imitate them and release before you. But if you have already got a patent on your design, then nobody can copy it, at least till the time it is released in the market. And once it is released in the market, for another 6 months, nobody can copy it or make it versions. After 6 months, these companies become a little least bothered about anybody copying them. Because if you talk about the big brands, like I named a few, H&M, Zara, Gap, and the higher brands than that, like we can talk about Coco Chanel, we can talk about Givenchy. Such brands, after a certain point, become least bothered because they know that the entire world looks up to them for the designing, and people start copying and making versions of them. So for a certain period, yes, the patent is there on design.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah.
It is textile designing. So you can become a textile designer. Now by textile here, I mean the literal fabric. The making of the fabric that we call weaving. Now there are a lot of types of weaving. Every fabric feels different. Why the feel of the fabric is different? Because the making of the fabric is different. There are several types of the weavings and knittings through which the fabric is being made. There are a lot of surface ornamentation given on the fabric, which we also call embellishing the fabric or decorating the fabric in layman language. We print them, we embroider them, we give them a lot of finishings. Now we have seen certain fabrics have shine or luster and certain fabrics are matte. So these are different types of finishings that are given to the fabrics. Some fabrics are soft and some have crisp. So these are again because of the finishing processes that we apply on the textile. So this is how textile industry works. Working on the different widths of the fabric, working on the different thickness of the fabric, prints, embroidery, finishing, a lot of technical things are there. And after doing the course of fashion design, you can also become a textile designer. Now, whichever terms I am explaining here, like be it styling, be it manufacturing, be it textile designing, there are of course specialized courses for that. You can go for like BSc in textile designing, you can go for certificate courses, but even after being a fashion designer, you can opt all of these job opportunities because fashion consists each of the topics as a subject. So you get basic touch in the first year, and second year, third year, as you grow, you get the advanced knowledge of them. So it is alright to go for the parallel courses also, and it is alright to opt for the fashion designing and then working in all the areas that I explained just now. Next is sales promotion. So every industry needs sales and advertising and marketing. So there are a lot of people working for the advertising and marketing of the fashion also. Some people work directly, some people work indirectly. So here opportunities are advertising, personal selling, direct marketing, and publicity or public relations. So we have seen fashion advertising everywhere. We can talk about magazines, newspapers, hoardings on the roadside, in the TV, on YouTube, even on the radios. So we have seen all types of audio, video advertisements of the fashion. There are people working upon it. So this is also one of the biggest opportunity that fashion field offers. Other is personal selling. So we have seen customer relationship officers, to whom we generally call a sales boy or a sales girl. That is a common term used for them. But if you visit big brand stores, like there you get really educated and expertise customer relationship officers who do personal selling. Then we can talk about marketing. So direct marketing and indirect marketing. If we talk about the agencies or agents that are visiting stores, talking to the buyers or entrepreneurs directly, they are doing direct marketing. The ones who are working at back office, like making advertisements and other things, they are working as they are doing indirect marketing. Then we call public relations. Public relation or publicity is again, like we do meet people or expertise in the stores, they are doing public relations job. So talking to them, convincing them to buy their design or label is again another thing. So this sales promotion is also a very huge area in the fashion. So in the beginning of the webinar, like I mentioned that fashion is the largest employing industry in India. Why I commented that this industry is made up of 4 steps. It consists of 4 sectors, that is primary, secondary, manufacturing and auxiliary level. So at primary level, we have people who are making fibers and fabrics. Who is making a fiber? Right from a farmer who is working in the field and growing cotton, which is the fiber for the cotton fabric. So people who are working on the fibers, be it the farming, be it working on the leather, removing the skin from the animals and processing them, removing wool from the animal skins and processing them, or making the man-made fibers which are made in the laboratories these days. Extracting the fibers from the plants. So there are natural fibers and man-made fibers. People are working on the primary level. Then there is a secondary level where people are making fabrics. They are finishing them, dyeing them, decorating them, like which I explained during the manufacturing. Then comes the manufacturing, which I just explained, like getting the fabric, checking the quality, cutting them, sewing them, packing them and sending it to the entrepreneurs. And then comes the retail sector, who are literally selling the end product to the consumer or the customers. Now, 4th sector that I spoke about is auxiliary level, which also means sales promotion. So people are working for the advertising and marketing of the fashion industry. This also includes the fashion shows that we can see. So we have seen or heard of fashion shows of international level, domestic level, college level, or even city-based. Right? We have seen many types of pageants and fashion shows. So considering all 4 sectors, huge number of population is employed through fashion industry. So we can understand the job opportunities in the industry. What it requires is dedication, creativity and originality. Next is retail sector that we already touched on. Customer relationship officer is again the same person. Like I said, when we visit the stores, we can see CROs or we can see sales girls or sales boys. That's a wrong term. I would suggest the people who are listening to me, please stop calling them sales girls. They really feel bad about it. They are also trained for it. Let's call them CROs from today. So give them a position. They are really trained and knowledgeable about them, about the fashion or the collection in the stores. Then we have store managers. Talking about the malls in the urban areas these days, there are like huge malls which need to be managed. So we have floor managers, we have brand managers, we have store managers. So fashion designers these days are getting this opportunity and again really paid well from the these big brands. Then next one is visual merchandiser. So visual merchandising is nothing but we call it as a window display. Whenever we attend a store or a branded outlet, we see some display in the store. You know, these days displays are very creative and seasonal. You visit a store in winters, you get to see a winter related display. You visit it during any festive season, may it be Diwali, Eid, Holi or New Year, you get to see a different display. So these displays are really creative and catchy, which attracts the customers to step into the store and see something and buy something. So this visual merchandiser is again a very creative and highly paid job in this sector. There are other parallel opportunities like being a fashion blogger, fashion journalist, content writer, advertising or marketing, and for fashion choreographer. So for this, these days we have new courses like fashion communication. This altogether can be a different course opted for. These days we have certificate courses and even graduation and master's courses in this. which earlier we did not have, but now people are opting for it. The articles that we get to read in the newspapers, in the magazines, the blogs, the journalism, the content, anywhere fashion content are made by all these content writers or fashion journalists. Advertising and marketing again comes under this. The marketing or advertising that we get to see in the newspaper holding again are designed by them. The content needed for these advertisements is again written by these people. Fashion choreography is another thing. Like we see the fashion shows, it needs to have a good choreography, a very creative choreography. Now I would like to explain this with an example. Imagine a beachwear collection is presented on the ramp. You need to choreograph it really well. For example, you need to create a kind of beach or an environment of the beach on the ramp so that people feel your collection. People should just not only see and comment your collection, but they should feel it. So having appropriate props, appropriate jewelry, accessory, the environment, the music, the backgrounds, the stage, the LED lights that we have these days, everything should go according to your collection to enhance it a bit more. So this is what a fashion choreographer is supposed to do. Right from the sequence of the model, sequence of the garment to be presented on the ramp, to deciding the lightings and music is a choreographer's job. So this again needs a creativity, this again needs a visualization. So for this you need to again do a different course. Even after doing fashion designing, you can go for training or working under some famous or big choreographer. But choreography again has become a different course. So likewise, even fashion photography is there, fashion styling is there. There are a lot of new courses these days. New job opportunities these days, for which we have different certification courses also. I hope this much was clear, the opportunities and the courses that we can opt for.
Yeah, I think it was really in depth, Gunja, at least for me, and I hope it is the same for others. Yeah.
Thank you. So here are a few tips from my side to get hired. I don't assure you will hire, but I can give you some tips which might help you, right? First of all, being a fashion designer, once you are done with the course, make a great portfolio that shows your creative talents. So how to make a portfolio? You will be learning a lot of subjects and making the assignments and portfolios for every subject. Pick out the best work of every subject or every assignment, combine them creatively, and your portfolio is ready. But there is a new demand of the market. Earlier, the portfolios were only handmade. These days, even digital portfolios are also demanded. So you will definitely be learning softwares that work digitally, where you can design the products digitally. So you need to learn both the things. Handmade also has importance, and digital is equally important these days. So make a combined portfolio. Then go for an internship. You get hands-on work practically. Like has asked me, how did I work? So this is the best way to go for. Go for the internship, learn the things, even if you may not be paid in your initial days. So that is okay for not being paid for a month or two. I never recommend my students for not being paid for a longer time. No, just don't go for it. For a month or two, it is all right. But after that, if you think you have started working actually and you have learned it, ask for your rights, ask for the money. But internship is a must. No matter how good college you step out from, they will just teach you the syllabus. They will not teach you how to talk to a client, how to convince them, how to make commercially viable designs. When you are in college, you just try to give the best creativity to make your designs. But every design that is made by you in the college is not commercially appealing. So here in the market, this is the difference. Then do freelancing for fashion houses and boutiques. Start making the designs. Start showing your sketches to the big fashion houses. Now here by big fashion houses, I mean the famous fashion designers in India. Naming a few are Ritu Kumar, Anita Dongre, Ritu Berry. There are a lot of big designers. So you can show these designs to the city you belong to. There must be some fashion houses and boutiques. You start freelancing with them. Next is be creative, exclusive and innovative. So right from the first slide till the almost last slide, I would suggest you to be creative, be original, be exclusive and innovative every time. Don't be impulsive and impatient. Being impulsive and impatient will not pay you in this field. This is a creative field where nothing is technically right or wrong. Nothing is good or bad. it is just based on the liked or disliked. If you're working for a famous designer or a fashion house, your designs are either liked by your boss or they are disliked by them. Your design is not wrong or right. In this field, nothing is right. Even if students come to me with the bad assignments, I tell them this is not wrong, but this can be done in a better way, because there are no rules for the creativity. Then don't get disheartened by rejections. Understand your drawbacks and work on it. There will be days when your designs will be scratched and thrown in the dustbin. This is the little example that every designer faces. I am not telling you or to scare you. Don't get scared of it. There's nothing to fear from it. But there will be days when people will reject your designs. They will dislike it. They will ask you to redo. It is all right. If you sustain, you will get better day by day. So get to know your drawbacks and work on them and be better every day. How to get started? Most important. Look for an internship. Don't just go for a startup because your family is supporting you financially, or you're already born with a silver spoon. No, don't take a risk. At least not this risk at the initial level. Work with some good brands, some good designers. Work in the field that is your forte, at least for 6 months or a year. Get to know the market practically and then get into your own startup. The best place to start is with an internship. The another important aspect these days is be present online. The entire world has come on the virtual platform, and because of the pandemic, this is all the more a new normal. Come online. Everything is sold and bought online. So you have to be present online as well as offline. Keep track of the skills gained. Whatever skills you have gained, whatever you already naturally acquire, keep a track of them and keep practicing it. Because you are not doing a particular thing, just don't skip it or leave it. You tend to forget the skills. Keep upgrading yourself, keep gaining the more experience in them. Then identify your fashion career. Like, there are a lot of possibilities that I explained in the webinar. Identify your fashion career and then pursue. Don't be afraid to ask. Fashion is a field where you don't get guidance easily. This is again a fact which I suffered from. Probably that is why I am here and happy to help, to guide people who do not know much about this field. Don't be afraid to ask to your teachers, to your mentors, to your friends, to your family, to your boss, to senior designers, to anybody. Take feedback, work on it. Keep moving. Don't stop. You will get disheartened for sure. Keep moving and take initiative. If you don't take initiative, there are a lot of another designers, like thousands of students passing from the Fashion Institute still days. So there are others to take initiative. So just don't sit back, take initiative, work on your own career. This is a glamorous field. This is the largest paying employees. You will also get your place in this. So that's it from my side. If any questions, I'm there. We can be interactive for some time. I've been talking all the way. I hope you understood everything. And if there is any doubt or any curiosity to ask anything in detail or anything else, you can ask me.
Yeah, guys, I think you guys can unmute yourself and ask if you have anything.
Hey, Gunja, thanks, Gunja. This is a good session. So, for people who are not really planning to pursue it as an full-time endeavor and want to go through education, is there a way to kind of, like, I know people who are trying to do this as a part-time.
Part-time, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a good news for such people. Like, in private institutions, they have come up with the concept of weekend batches. Like the institute which I am working with, we have weekend batches who only come on the Sundays. Like, we have people from different fields. We have doctors, we have lawyers, we have IT people doing these courses only on the weekends because sometime in their life they wanted to do this course. Some people have stories like parents did not allow. Some people thought that this may not be a good payable job. So yes, there is a way out. You can either go for the weekend batches. There is another concept that private institutes have special batches for such people which run only in the mornings or in the evenings. Like we have batches running from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. After 10, you can go to your office, work full day, and you can have a normal, regular routine. So you can find out the institutions which are offering such facilities, which are ready to adjust the timings as per your schedule.
Yeah, and I would like to add one thing, Atul. I think they're also working on creating some e-learning courses. So even during this pandemic time, I think people can access, right, Gunja? Would you like to talk about that? Yeah.
Yes, our institute has come up with this concept that we are providing online courses. We are still working on it. We have launched a few of the subjects, like we are making the subjects and launching them because people are really curious to learn sitting at home. Some of the courses are really, affordable, that you can just, you should opt for. And the best part of the online courses is you can watch the videos, you can do your assignments as and when possible for you. There is no time bound, there is no place bound. You don't have to be physically present in the class, you don't have to visit college. So being in your pace, being at your comfort, you can learn the things, make your assignments and submit online, and we are just there to reply and teach you. So online course is another thing, another option for such people.
Yeah. Atul, is that
Yeah, Got thanks.
Anybody has any questions? Shreya, Priyanga? I don't know if I'm pronouncing. So I think there was some problem with the mic, so they actually chose to ask questions. Yeah, I think we are good, Gunja. So for others who are still there, I would say that you guys can also visit on our website and schedule one-on-one. We'll onboard Gunja as a mentor, so we'll request her to donate maybe 1 hour every week. So maybe you can talk more, discuss more, and figure out more about fashion designing. And if you want to make a career, if you want to follow it as a hobby or whatever is convenient. So again, thank you so much, Gunja. Trust me, I understood a lot today. I mean, I know you since long, but I never got into the depth of what actually you do. Honestly, I understand it in a better way now. So thank you for that. Thank you for taking time out.
Thank you, Om. I'm really happy to help anybody. If anybody wants to pursue this course or has any doubt, you can reach out to me any possible way. We are there in the group, happy to help, WhatsApp group. You can reach out to me through any social media. Like I am there on Facebook and Instagram with the same name that I am there in the webinar and on the WhatsApp group. So anytime you have any doubt or you need any guidance, I am there.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So I think we're good. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining, and thank you, Gunja. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.